This program is part of the Infinite Potato Alliance. Visit us at infinitepotato.com.
I'm Jared Stern. I think people should listen because we're desperate for attention right now.
I'm also Jared Stern. This is what I like to call an exercise in benign narcissism. And you're...
And if you like to have fun...
Nobody does who listens
If you
to the
enjoy
podcast.
fun...
People don't like fun. I've told you this. People like misery because they're lonely. And what do we know about misery?
Loves company.
It loves company.
Between Two Sterns.
As we continue to move closer and closer to doing this thing out of a closet.
I mean, we're back in the room that we were here 2 episodes ago. We just changed the orientation. We're now closer to the door where the gym is.
One could say that we,
for some reason,
reoriented. First of all, before we begin, how's this feel in here? Feels pretty good, right?
feels all right. Oh, look at that. That's a nice little fan you got
It's a nice
there.
little fan. It's a nice little fan. Not my biggest fan, but small enough.
Not a sponsor, just a fan.
I get a lot of looks about this thing. I had this on my desk at work because I spitz, I sweat. And then I had this portable one, but I have to get a different one because this is the low setting. It's more the noise than anything else.
Yeah.
It's loud.
Yeah, that's almost like jet turbine at a certain point.
Welcome to Between Tuesday. So, yeah. But yeah. How you doing? It's been a big week. It's been a big week.
It has been a big
It's been a
week.
huge week.
Well, you tell me how
I
it's
have
been.
stuff.
Okay, well,
I have stuff.
I can't wait to hear your stuff. I've got a whole list of stuff. Tell you what, before we get into your stuff, I've got some quick administrative type of things to get out of the way.
Everybody get that fast forward 10 seconds button ready. Sorry, go on.
Well, I got some cool comedy stuff coming up. And if you like to have fun,
Nobody does who listens
you
to the
enjoy
podcast.
fun.
People don't like fun. I've told you this. People like misery because they're lonely. And what do we know about misery?
Loves company.
It loves company.
In any case, if you are looking for a distraction that this podcast can't quite offer you, and you live in either Hanover, Pennsylvania, or Leesburg, Virginia, or Virginia Beach, or Frederick, Maryland, have I got news for you. On March 28th, I'll be headlining the Church of Satire in Hanover, Pennsylvania. On April 2nd, I will be at the Tally Ho Theater in Leesburg, Virginia. On the 17th and 18th of April, I'll be headlining Kazi's Comedy Club in Newport News, Virginia. And on the Sunday, WrestleMania Sunday, if you need some counter programming,
WrestleMania.
the 19th of April, I will be at the Cellar Door, one of my favorite spots. We've actually you've performed on stage with me at the Cellar Door.
Performed.
But yeah, no, I'll be headlining the Cellar Door in Frederick. I love that place. And you can find all of these updates, everything, jaredstern.com. Also, some really big, awesome comedy news in the far-flung future. If you're planning that far ahead, I don't know if I got a chance to talk to you about this since last we recorded, but I'm going to be doing a little mini tour with Emo Phillips.
You did not tell me. You love Emo Phillips.
I know.
And Emo Phillips loves you.
Yes, and unfortunately, I'm not going to get the chance to work with him when he comes through the closer spots in the DC area in May. He's already got someone open for him then. But I'm going to be working with him in Detroit, Michigan, and Cleveland, Ohio, and Youngstown, Ohio, and then a little place called Massillon, Ohio. But that's in November. Emo-Vember, yes.
I love Ohio. I went to Dayton, Ohio. I had the best weekend. And that sounds like the setup for a joke, but it's not. The weather was perfect. And Rachel and I just had the best time in Dayton, Ohio. And because of that, yeah.
Well, I'm not sure how the weather's going to be in November.
Miserable. You're not going to have the same experience.
Probably not, but that should be a lot of fun. I have some other updates.
You can update.
All right,
Go
cool.
ahead, update.
I have on the hook.
Yeah.
Potentially 2 more Jared Sterns.
I only knew about one Jared Stern.
Yeah, I cannot tell you the amazing cornucopia of Jared Sterns that is LinkedIn. But there are plenty of us there. We are legion.
People want jobs.
We work. Jared Sterns do shit.
Yes, you do.
And so I went searching my name, went searching our name again, and I found a good tactic to actually get a response.
What's your tactic?
Well, normally, so on LinkedIn, it's difficult to actually message somebody unless you're a connection. They want you to pay for LinkedIn Premium in order to message
I'm aware.
people. So what you do is
wait. You have to pay LinkedIn Premium to message people who are not in your network.
well, even then, so message people who are not in your network.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Most of the Jared Sterns not in my network, so you have to hit the little connect button.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, if you just hit connect and there's no real context for the connection, if you don't know the person, and maybe it seems kind of scammy if someone with your exact name is trying to connect with you, but there's an option to send a message with the connection.
Yeah, there is.
And I hadn't been doing that in the past. And these last 2 Jared Sterns, I did it, and both of them responded. One of them is in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
The other is in the greater Sydney area of Australia. Another Australian Jared Stern.
Wow.
So both have expressed interest. Both have expressed basically that they have nothing interesting to say to us and don't know if they're right for a podcast. And I've been trying to impart to them how low key and friendly, and especially Jared Stern friendly, this particular podcast is. So to be continued, TBD on those. But I'm slowly kind of massaging them into getting them on the show. So stay tuned for that. Also, I think it's time we tell people exactly. We got to let people off the hook as far as the game show is concerned.
We can do that. I have no problem with that. I think, regardless of whether we have been chosen,
we haven't.
But here's the thing: I don't know if we have or have not.
Here's the thing:
because there's a very specific component to why this show might be delayed.
I get that. Here's the thing, though. I got in contact with the casting agent that got us on the casting call.
Yeah.
And she said, if you haven't been selected, you will have heard nothing. And we have heard absolutely nothing.
I have not heard a thing.
Not a goddamn thing.
Not one.
So this is, I think, just a case of us grossly overestimating our chances based on our inherent charisma and the
charm
and the charm and the hook of having 3 Jared Sterns on one team. That's a great hook. Such a cool hook. We thought, great hook. Undeniable hook. Turns out they denied us. So, yeah. I think it's just a case of, you ever buy a lottery ticket and then spend the money in your head?
This is what you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because I was just kind of gaming things out. Well, what's the worst case scenario if we get chosen? Well, then maybe we get a chance to travel to a far-flung European location.
Sure.
And what if maybe because it is a Jimmy Fallon production, he finds some way to boost the profile of the podcast and find an audience of millions of people and actually bring us fame. I could be. Right, exactly, and find a whole new audience to bring us. Oh, I don't know, monetization of the podcast. Wouldn't that be nice?
Look, Jeff Bezos said, "Your goal should not be to make money.
Right.
Your goal should be to disrupt." I have found this podcast to be very disruptive.
This podcast
on many levels
has disrupted our lives for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And so it's disappointing, but I can't say I'm hugely disappointed by it. It was fun to dream, and it was fun to get dancer Jared Stern in on the fun, and whatever. It didn't happen, but it could happen in the future. Eventually, we could make this work at some point.
Maybe once they're done just scraping the bottom of that barrel, they're like, "Oh, look at that, Jared Stern's over there.
Look at that.
Maybe
Look at those.
season 2.
Look at these dregs at the bottom. Yeah. So that's not going to be happening anytime soon, unfortunately.
This is when we look down and we get the email from them saying, "Oh, you've been chosen."
Yeah.
That's how life works.
Yeah,
That's how life
it is.
works.
Anyway, so those are all the administrative updates that I have. I want to hear your thing.
I got the biggest thing ever.
Well,
I got the biggest thing ever.
Don't oversell it.
I'm not. This past week, I did something that I can't remember if I've ever done
Okay.
as successfully as I did this.
Okay.
I'm shocked by it as well.
Oh, I don't even know what it is to be shocked by it. You're reaching into your bag for something.
I read this book.
Oh, okay.
I started the book on Wednesday.
Wow, you went through that entire...
And I finished the book on Monday.
My question is, how did you look while you were reading it?
Fantastic.
Okay. Did you take some pictures?
I didn't. I should have.
Did you
There
take
was
some
a lot of
progress
this
shots?
stuff. There was a lot of this stuff. And look, you can see how it folds and curves upwards.
You can tell those pages have been opened.
These have been read.
Yeah.
These are not unread pages. It's not. And I didn't cheat it. By the way, this might be one of the greatest books I have ever read in my entire life.
Wow.
It's a book called Project Hail Mary. They're making a movie out of it.
The
with
movie's
Ryan
out?
Gosling. I believe it comes out Thursday.
Okay.
It's just the reviews are already coming
By
out.
the time you've heard this podcast, it'll be out.
The book is incredible. If they stay even remotely true to the guy who wrote this book is the same guy who wrote The Martian.
Sure.
That then got converted into the movie. But it's like if the Martian walked, this book jumped into hyperspace. I cannot recommend it enough. I have not been gripped by a book like that in years. I have.
Wow, you were gripped.
Now you're married.
I am.
You live with your wife.
Last time I checked.
Right. Now, obviously, actually you do. You have a full-time job.
Also last time I checked.
So this is important context. People who live with your partner, listen up. When you both have a full-time job, you go to work, you come home,
Mm-hmm.
you are always sharing space together.
Sure.
Right? Now, as we all know as people, there are things that you will do when you are by yourself. You're not going to do when you're sharing space with someone. I don't need to know the specifics of it.
And is reading one of those things?
No, it's not. Playing video games could be one of those.
Okay, sure.
Watching that show that's just for you
Sure.
that they might not be into. Maybe snacking a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Right? Whatever your thing is. But reading is universally accepted to be okay whenever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You could be at the hospital, you can read a book.
Sure.
You could be on the subway, read a book.
Yep.
You could be hanging out with your pop. Oh, dinner's in the process of getting ready. No problem. I'll bang out a couple of pages. I sat for 3.5 hours Monday morning in my apartment by myself. Rachel was at work. I could have done anything I wanted.
And you decided to
And
read.
I decided to let my eyeballs slide over these characters on these physical pages. And it was one of the best experiences I've had.
So what drew you to this book?
So I loved the trailer when I first saw the trailer.
Yep.
I saw a teaser trailer of it years ago. And I am going to bring this up to you, and I need you to know in hindsight, I deeply regret not thinking about this. It was brought up at a time where I just didn't put it together. So my brother has put together this pilot trial for like this thing that he's trying to do.
Okay.
And I don't want to go into too much detail about it because it's not my thing to share, and he's still building out the concept. But what he wanted to do was, could you essentially combine like a fantasy football league type of concept with reviewing movie trailers? Essentially guessing what the Rotten Tomato score would be of a movie trailer
Interesting.
before it comes up. So a whole group of his friends that are in it, I got rolled into it at the last minute. I was even telling Rachel, I was like, how did I not think to bring Jared into this so we both could? But it doesn't matter. So part of this thing that we're doing is watching trailers ahead of time and then anticipating what the Rotten Tomato score might be. That's what put the movie on my radar. I watched the trailer, and even the teaser trailer from last year, I was like, oh, this is fucking good. I'm definitely into this.
So I have a question for you as now someone who has freshly read the book
Yeah.
and seen the trailers.
I think...
Are you pissed that they spoiled a specific thing?
So I think that they're reconstructing the trailer First of all, the thing that they spoiled is not the big twist of the book.
Okay.
There are other more intense twists.
Okay.
And what I will say is what they showed in the trailer is such a large part of the movie that if you didn't show that part of the movie, it would be like, it's not like you're waiting a long time to get to that thing. It's more about how that thing is navigated rather than that thing exists. There are other components of it. I think they're editing the trailer in a very like manipulatively, loosely way based off of the book. But
Sure.
I'm still very excited about the book and how they're going to execute the movie.
I just watched a review of it today.
Yeah.
Gave it a 9 out of 10.
Love it.
Said it was close to like Close Encounters of the Third Kind in its kind of sweeping, feel-good
And they got
handling of space.
They got the perfect directors for it. Chris Miller and
Lord.
Chris Lord and Phil Miller.
Okay.
Great directors. They did Avengers Endgame. They did Into the Spider-Verse. Great book. Great book. And it's like really
I
just...
don't think they did Endgame.
Yeah, they did both Endgame and...
Yeah, you're thinking of the different directors.
I don't think I am.
Because the brothers did Infinity War and Endgame. The Russo brothers.
You're absolutely right. They did the Lego movie.
Okay.
The original Lego movie, and yes, you're absolutely right. My apologies.
No problem. I know some pedantic listener.
Hey, John.
Well,
How's it going, John?
Or hey Dave.
Yeah. But the book is fantastic. So anyway, I saw the trailer. I was like, ooh, this is interesting. But anyway, there's a group chat set up for this thing that everybody's doing. And one of the people in the group, a friend of my brother's, was like, I decided to start reading this book. It's amazing. It's the first book I've read in 20 years.
Wow.
And my brother started reading the book as well. And he was like, I'm on chapter 3 and this book is incredible. And I was like, you know what? In my head, I was like, I didn't want to ruin the movie by reading the book. But based off of everything I've been seeing, the book is so good, it would be tough to go from the movie back to the book rather than the other direction.
Just because what you will imagine in your head,
Correct.
it can't really touch what they come up with on screen.
Correct. I think that book to movie is the right direction. I had a similar feeling with the Harry Potter books. I read the books, then I saw the movies, and I was like, eh.
Well, they also cut a shit ton out of
Exactly.
the movies.
That's they always cut it. So it's better to know all of it and see what they trim down. But anyway, book is fantastic. Couldn't recommend it high enough.
Cool.
And that's all I had going on. No.
That's my only thing. I read a book.
I've started reading again.
That's
based
great.
off of this. And
Based on our conversation last time,
yeah.
you expressed reservations about reading from a purely vanity standpoint.
Well, that's before I realized how good I look reading. And a lot of my choices in life are based off of vanity.
So, are you trying to be a reading model? Is that what we're going for here?
Look, I don't know what you can do with an OnlyFans account
I
anymore.
feel like book publishers should go to you so you can model the book as it's being read.
How is that not a thing?
I don't know.
Look at that.
You can make it a thing.
Have you ever thought about how cool you look reading?
If that's not a Zoolander sequel, I'm not sure what is.
I want the Reading Rainbow movie. But yeah, so around all that, I've had some other things going on. I do have some big news. Some kind of rather large news. So,
okay, well, and you're hearing it right here on Between Two Stars.
as many of you know, I used to have a job and I don't anymore. And
Did we?
we did not.
I don't think we went over the fact that you lost your job
Well,
because you never told anybody where you worked.
Well, you can put it together if you want. But back in October, I was part of a large group of layoffs. Back in October, I was given 90 days to find a job internally with the company.
And it's been like 150 days.
Yeah, so that ended the end of January. And so, unfortunately, I've been fully unemployed since the end of January. And it's been tough. I had a couple of I keep making it to like, I'm the other guy. Like I keep getting through rounds and rounds. I'm like right at the end.
Sort of like you auditioned for a game show.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And expected a call back,
Yeah.
and yet here we still are.
Here's what it is. This is a deep cut. So Some of you, nobody's going to get this except for my family.
Will I get this?
No, that does not listen to the podcast. On the cooking networks, now that there's like celebrity cooking and celebrity chefs, a lot of them compete. There are these two brothers that compete a lot together. They're
The Voltaggios?
Yeah, you know the Voltaggios.
Yes.
Okay, so Brian and Michael Voltaggio. Michael has...
I've eaten at Brian Voltaggio's restaurant.
Amazing.
It's fantastic.
Wow, okay. I am way off about your ability to get what I'm about to say.
Okay.
I am the Brian Voltaggio of interviewing for jobs. I always come in second place. Every competition I'm in, I'm second place, but I don't win.
But
on
but
average,
you can cook, man.
On average, I rank higher than everyone else because 7 number 2s are better than 1 number 1 and a whole bunch of 7s. But I can never get that one spot. And so that is what I have felt like for a while now. I do have some positive stuff coming as far as job stuff. I have a couple of job offers that are coming my way. Couldn't be happier. But in the meantime, especially like when there was a period in November, I think it was, where I had interviewed with a company and the recruiter had reached out essentially through back channels and was like, told a friend of mine and was like, hey, I'll be sending out the official offer letter, but this was on a Friday, but they're going with Jared. They're going to make Jared an offer. They're sending out an official letter on Monday. And then the weekend occurred. And then on Monday, nothing came. And around 4 o'clock, the hiring manager called me, which is unheard of. And she was like, I'm so sorry.
By order of the traders, you've been murdered.
Exactly. Unfortunately, Brian, we've had to go. I think she had gotten some external pressure.
Please pack your knives.
Please pack your knives and go. And so that was really heartbreaking. So it's been a real struggle, not because I've been like, first of all, unemployment at my age feels very different than unemployment.
Oh, I've been there.
You know, there's a certain point where you can only watch so many shows. You can only
you only have so much to do with your free time.
You can only play so many video games until like the arthritis starts hurting your thumbs a little bit. And so I was thinking to myself, Rachel had asked me, she's like, did you ever think about going back to school? And she's like, if you could go back to school, what are the areas you would go into? And the answer was 2. I had 2 areas that I thought about. Number 1 was law.
Oh, yeah, well, that seems natural, but that's a lot of work.
And that's the thing, is a lot of work. And
I think going back to school, period, is going to be a lot of work.
And I'm 43, and my undergrad is a BFA in theater arts, so just the path to even being able to begin to practice would be like 10 to 15 years, give or take.
Okay.
And a lot of it comes from my frustration with the system and me wanting to defend like people who need help. But it would be too long of a process, and I don't have the brain capacity to memorize everything I would need to for law. The other thing was, I have always wished that if I could have done things slightly differently, that I could go into therapy. I'm a huge advocate of therapy. I'm a huge believer in it. It has helped me tremendously at multiple stages in my life, and I really see the benefits of it. And on a whim, I floated out to my therapist my thought process about doing this. And she was so unbelievably supportive. She was like, I think you make a great therapist. Talked about different schools because I live in Virginia. Going to a Virginia school allows me to get a reduced tuition because I live within the state.
Okay.
She recommended VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University.
I have them picked in the March Madness bracket.
Very cool.
To go to the Sweet 16. So good pick.
And yeah, there are different paths to go through in order to get your therapy license. One is to go through a master's in psychology, and the other one is a master's of social work. And overwhelmingly, everyone I know many people, recommend the social work path. It's a much more versatile degree. But when I say my grades were bad.
Oh, yeah. It's all right. That's a common Jared Stern problem.
When I went to Kutztown University, my grades were so bad. Like, I can't believe they still let me stay in college. And then I transferred to University Arts, which was an acting conservatory. I did much better. But once again, those grades don't look like real classes.
Yep.
Like intros to feelings. And
well, that's be perfect for therapy. What are you talking about?
And advanced move through this space in multiple different ways.
I feel like those things do translate to a therapeutic pursuits.
So I looked into VCU, and I hit the minimum GPA threshold. Thank you, University of the Arts and Acting 101. I had 2 requirements. I needed 1 class that had something to do in psychology, social work, anything, and I needed a C or above. And I forget the name of that teacher, but thank you to that intro to psychology teacher from Kutztown. I forget your name, but you were fucking awesome. And I managed to scrape by on a C. And I needed something within like a humanitarian social area. And I had an intro to, I think, US studies or something that I managed to squeeze a B out of. But regardless, I submitted 2 weeks ago, and I found out on Monday that I have been accepted into VCU for a master's in social work program.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Can I say that I find it mildly ironic that the school that you're going to for therapy is called VCU? VCU.
VCU.
We feel you.
Oh my God, that's so good. Oh, I'm going to use that joke all the time. I'm going to really lean into my Ukrainian ancestry.
Yes.
Which, by the way, in my green shirt, really leaning into that Zelensky look right now.
You're mostly just fading into the back wall.
It's just so bad. I didn't realize how closely together. It's like Brick in Anchorman 2, where he's against the green screen and all of his.
I have no legs. Where are my legs?
But I couldn't be happier. On a personal note, I'm very proud of myself.
You should be.
It is a huge, huge risk to put yourself out there. And I didn't tell anybody that I was applying. I didn't want to like apply and then not get in. But if anyone ever listens to this, I want to make a special thank you to everyone who wrote me a letter of recommendation. A friend of mine who I worked with years ago at a nursing home wrote me a very lovely letter of recommendation. Somebody else who I worked with, and my therapist wrote me a letter of recommendation. I believe reached out to the dean of the school to recommend me. So, I'm very excited about it. It's going to be a lot of work because I'm going to be doing that around working full time. And
so this will be the last episode of the podcast until November.
But how does that make you feel? I know it's a defense mechanism for you to be making that joke, but how does it make you feel?
Listen, if you have less time for this show because you are furthering yourself in some way, shape, or form, I'll find another Jared Stern. It's not that big a deal.
That was a roller coaster of support and passive-aggressive energy.
No, dude, I'm super happy for you.
I'm well aware.
I'm super happy for you, but yeah, it's defense mechanism.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, that's my big highlight. And by the way, it's been a while since I've come in here with a positive or a win. So if you're all not used to it, just take a moment, pause it, breathe for a second.
Yep, no, that's great. So in that vein, if we're gonna, I want to dovetail off of 2 things that you brought up. One, being unemployed in your 40s, and also dealing with trauma.
Yeah, I'm getting divorced. No. Sorry.
But so for Andrea's birthday,
complete
last year, I got her tickets to go see Stand By Me, the 40th anniversary.
The movie?
The movie.
Love the movie Stand By Me.
Oh, yes.
It's Morgan Freeman.
No.
That's Lean On Me? We've done this before.
Oh, I don't know that we have.
We have. Recently.
Okay.
But this is another one of those, like, that Driver episode where we accidentally did the same episode, like, 3 weeks apart. It's not as bad.
I'm going to have to go back and listen, but no, not Morgan Freeman. And it's so it's the 40th anniversary of this movie, and some of the cast, the 3 of the 4 child actors who are still alive, Will Wheaton, Corey Feldman, and Jerry O'Connell.
Oh shit! Yeah,
were going to be up on stage to talk about the making of the movie, answer questions, and do all of that. This one of the things that I never really quite appreciated, and I kind of found Stand By Me later in life because it came out when I was 11.
Yeah.
And a story about 3 kids going to go see a dead body didn't really register with me, or it wasn't on my radar when I was a kid. I was much more interested in a couple other movies that came out in 1986 Transformers the movie,
such a good movie.
and Labyrinth both came out in 1986. Anyway, so I came to Stand By Me a little later in life, but it's a great coming of age story. One thing I just did not realize back then is that there's so much goddamn trauma baked into this movie.
The dead body wasn't a giveaway?
No, I mean just in the making of the movie.
Oh.
Surrounding all of the movie. First of all, River Phoenix dies when he's like 24 or something like that. So they had an extra seat for him. Also, they had to deal with the very fresh loss of Rob Reiner.
Oh.
This was the first time they've done this tour since he died. So that was a big deal. They had an empty director's chair on stage for him. Also, apparently, Will Wheaton, the only reason why he's an actor is because his parents bullied him into doing it, and he hated it. And so he was emotionally abused by his parents, which came out in his performance.
No.
Also, you had Corey Feldman, who has detailed a litany of sexual abuse throughout his career as a child actor. And Jerry O'Connell also dealt with stuff like that too. But there's just so much swirling around all of them. And so you had these actors who are now adults. They're all around my age. They're about, I think Will Wheaton's like 53. They're all about the same age. And so you have them out there discussing all these things that were going on behind the scenes of the movie, and they all talked about how Rob Reiner made them feel safe on set, and that's what directors need to do for child actors.
Wow.
And talked about all the hijinks they got up to and that sort of thing, some of the behind the scenes, how they did some of the effects and things like that. But man, to see the dynamic between those three actors as adults now, given the childhoods that they had, to create the personalities that they now exhibit. First of all, I saw myself very much in Jerry O'Connell for two reasons. One, he
looks great for his age. I'm not knocking.
Yeah, no. I also married above my station.
Yeah.
And also, he was an unmedicated ADHD child.
What?
Yeah.
You have ADHD?
How about that?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My parents knew and decided not to medicate me. I'm glad they didn't. But then they were still disappointed in my grades. I'm like, you knew this. Come on, you knew what you were getting into. Anyway, but to see like his very attention grabbing antics while he's on stage. But the other thing was watching Corey Feldman, who he was constantly trying to make every story about him.
Yeah.
And constantly trying to drive all of the stories back to him and trying to make a big deal out of it and just interjecting into everyone else's stuff. And I know what built that personality. I know that, like I said, the trauma that built that. But man, he was a lot. And to see Jerry O'Connell's face, he was so fucking exasperated by Corey Feldman for the entire time. You could just see him be like, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to do this. Okay. And then meanwhile, Will Wheaton was very much the kind of like the moderator, trying to bring things back and make the conversations more productive. They had a moderator on stage. They had a guy who was a producer who'd worked with all of them in the past. But it was very interesting. And did you watch the Oscars?
No, but I've heard a little bit of it.
Okay. Something happened on the Oscars, and now I'm very curious to see how the rest of this tour is going to go. Because Billy Crystal, at the beginning of the In Memoriam segment, comes out and does a very heartfelt tribute to his good friend, Rob Reiner. Mm-hmm. And then after he's done with that, they bring out all of the actors who have had something to do with a Rob Reiner production.
Oh.
You would
Everyone.
Carol Kane.
Yeah, everyone.
Whatchamacallit? Kiefer Sutherland.
Would it be easier to just have everyone who didn't have anything to do
The
with
guys who are still alive from Spinal Tap, they all came out, along with Will Wheaton and Jerry O'Connell.
But not Corey Feldman.
But not Corey Feldman. So, I'm very curious to find out how deep a slight that was to him and what that does to the dynamic now moving forward, because they have like 4 other cities to go to on this tour and still hash up all that same stuff.
What I'm waiting for, if I could write the arc of this for you, because I know you're looking for it, I want another tour to come up, and I want him to address it. And in that addressing, I want him to say something along the lines of, yeah, and clearly they didn't want me there because of my ADHD. And to be quite honest, my parents knew I had ADHD when I was younger and didn't address it, but I didn't want them to. I didn't want the medication anyway.
Different actor. Jerry O'Connell was the.
You don't think Corey Feldman has ADHD?
I mean, I'm sure he does, but that's not
Right,
who I was
I
referencing.
know that. I was just waiting for him to make a parallel comment.
But you know what, though? That's the same kind of shit that Corey Feldman was doing. Someone was trying to make a joke, and then he would interject and completely miss the point of the fucking joke, and then derail everything.
I have no idea what that's like.
Right. Thank you. Welcome to Between Two Fucking Stern.
Hey everybody, thanks for sticking your ears between two sterns.
Please leave us a 5-star review, even if it's a sarcastic one.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Have an idea for the show, or are you also Jared Stern?
Shoot us an email. You can find links to everything at jaredstern.com.